Years ago, before I was ordained, I was sitting with a friend one day and having coffee, and I made the comment to her. I says, I don't see you at church very often anymore. And she says, oh yeah, well, I have a family and so on. And I said, yeah, you do. I said, but I still don't see you at church. And she says, well, Sunday's our family time. And I went, huh? Sunday is our family time. We hear this reading today from Jesus, about Jesus, and it almost to some of us would seem a little harsh because they say, oh, your brothers and sisters and your mother are all outside. And he doesn't say, I don't have them, but he says, you are all my brothers and sisters. He makes this comment. And this kind of strategizing or layering thing that goes on here, I think it's important to remember that he's not saying they're not important. And sometimes we read that as Jesus is saying, oh, they're not important, you are. That's not what he's saying. But what he's saying is that everything should be second to God. Everything should be second to my faith. Everything that I do in the world should be second to that. And quite often, God is second to everything. Whether it's family or job or, I often hear people tell me different things about why they're not in church. Well, I had to work or, because I had a family thing or I always liked the one when I said, well, I had something to do. Usually that means they're playing golf. I had something to do, right? I hear a couple of you chuckled. But Jesus says God needs to be the first thing. I quoted a few weeks ago in my homily, I said, I can tell everything there is about you, and I'm quoting another theologian. I can tell everything about you in one question. Tell me what you worship. Tell me what you worship. And if you're worshiping other things ahead of God, then that tells me a lot about you. It was the whole issue with the prodigal son and his brother. They worshiped other things rather than God. So my brothers and sisters, we are called to love everybody. We're called to love our families, certainly most of all. But the person we're supposed to love the most is God, and to put him ahead of everything. Amen.